Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare.
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। Today's quote on chanting: Surrender into the lotus feet of Lord Krishna and revive your forgotten relationship with him. Make yourself free from the material entanglement by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. After crossing so many births in different shapes of life, begin at last, we got this human body only to understand who is the God. Hence, cultivate your life by going closer to Him in any circumstances only by chanting the Lord's name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. I am Pooja from Sydney. May I know who have joined today?
Hare Krishna Puja Mataji, my Dandavat Pranam to you and all the devotees on the call. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Rupini Padma Devi Dasi from Orlando, Florida.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Surinder Bhandari from Maryland.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining.
Hare Krishna, Puja Mataji and all the summer devotees, Dandavat Pranam, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Shamarasika Devidasi from Germantown, Maryland. And Mataji, Vanmalini Manjari Mataji has to go to drop her kids at school. So she will give a short class. So we can start class now.
Yeah, sure. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining. Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Today we are so fortunate to have Her Grace Vanmalini Manjari Mataji, and Mataji will speak on Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 7, Chapter 6, Verse 14 onwards. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please take over the call.
Thank you all so much, devotees. Thank you, Mataji. We'll start. We are all very, very, very fortunate to read Srimad Bhagavatam every day in the association of devotees. When Sukadeva Goswami starts speaking Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj, he says that Bhagavatam, hearing and chanting, hearing Sravanam of Bhagavatam is the first step towards solving all the miseries of the life. So we are all very fortunate. We are already on that boat. Having said that, we'll start with Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuttapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamsham Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ananvitam Hamsajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamsham He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Krupa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet. Hare Krishna. This chapter is so wonderful because here Prahlad Maharaj is explaining to all his schoolmates who are just 5 years old or a little bit more than that. The real you, like what is the importance of having human life and how we will not be misusing the human life. Many of us actually don't know the value of the human life. And another misconception all of us have is that if I die as a human, I will be born as a human. So that is not true also. If our actions in the human form of life are not befitting as a human, we will not be awarded human life again. Our actions decide our future. Our actions not only decide our actions just does not end in getting the results of the current action, but they also leave an impression in our mind, which actually initiates actions in future also. So many of us may be thinking that if I am doing an action which is forbidden in scriptures, it will end now. Like one last time I'll do. From tomorrow, the Shravan Mass is going to start. So today I'm just going to go and eat all what I should not be eating. So we generally think like that. So it just did not stop in getting the results of that bad actions, but also leaves an impression in our mind, which actually guides our future actions. So the first step is thinking and acting according to the scriptures, because it is deciding our future. So when we don't act how we are supposed to be act in a human form of life, we will not be given a human form of life again. So how do I know what I am supposed to act in a human form of life? That we have to learn from the scriptures. In summary, in human form of life, we should not be just spending all our time in sense gratification and in material engrossment, gaining material pleasures and material objects and material things. Again, Srila Sukadeva Goswami, in the second canto of Bhagvatam, first chapter, when he starts speaking Srimad Bhagvatam to Parishit Maharaj, he mentions that materially engrossed people become blind to Srimad Bhagavatam because they are so engrossed in material enjoyment and accumulating material things that they spend all their day in earning money and their nights in enjoying whatever they have earned, in spending in material enjoyment, like in indulging themselves in intoxication or sex or any other things. So they only do those two things. The morning and night, they use only in these two things. And they lose all their time that has been awarded to them in their human form of life. And they don't qualify themselves to become humans again. Because human form of life is meant for realizing who we are. We are not these bodies. When we say material engrossment, material accumulation, sense gratification, all that thing belongs to the body that we have taken. Whatsoever it may be, an American, European, Russian, Japanese, Asian, whatever the body that we have taken, an animal. So when we say material things, it all relates to the body. And many of us does not seriously know that we are not this body, we are souls. So if we are not spending our day at least a part of our day in self-realization, we are proving again and again that we don't need this human form of life. We are good in getting money in the mornings and enjoying in the night, which even animals does. Animals spend all their daytime in acquiring food for themselves and their families, taking care of them, loving them immensely, protecting them, being there for them, working hardly for them, and then in the night, enjoying with their partners, or they don't have any rules, so they do whatever they want. So this is what animals does also. And when we do that repeatedly, day after day, day after day, day after day, day after day, without realizing that human form of life is given for us for some higher purpose, higher realization, we are ourselves proving to Krishna that I don't deserve a human form of life, because I didn't spend even a single minute or a single day in realizing who I am. And how can I do this self-realization process? Where do I start? We start from hearing Srimad Bhagvatam, hearing about Krishna. Hearing is very simple. For reading or understanding, we need a little bit of more intelligence, because we have to read by ourselves and understand. And maybe let's say some people may not be intelligent enough to read, or educated enough to read, or may not have a time to read. So hearing is so powerful that when we constantly, regularly hear, and then we chant the holy names of that Lord, our process for self-realization has started. Even if we spend a little bit of time in this human form of life, in that, Krishna thinks that, okay, he has put some effort in realizing who he is. So he started his journey of bhakti. He started his journey of self-realization. So this person deserves to continue that. And he gives us more chances, more human forms. And if we put even more effort, like we have spent 50% of our time in self-realization, and for whatsoever reason we are not able to do it 100% or successful, he gives us even more better opportunities by making us born in a family of devotees, or in a family of a rich, where we don't need to worry about day-to-day earning, and we can spend all our time in self-realization. So human form of life is very, very rare. Human form of life is very, very valuable. So Prahlad Maharaj here is telling all his friends about the human form of life. And the previous verses that we have seen, he says how the 100 years of life is used: 50 years in sleep, 20 years in childhood and sporting, 20 years in old age and invalidity. See, old age, many of us think that when I'm done with all my responsibilities, when all my kids go out of the school, out of house, I have all the time. And what else I can do? I'll be just chanting, I'll be just reading. But unfortunately, devotees, it doesn't happen so. If we did not practice something from the childhood, it doesn't come to us in the old age. Very rarely, very few devotees are attracted in old age towards Krishna. Old age comes with its own problems, where we need help to do everything. We are dependent on people, and our own memory, mind itself, we forget ourselves. So it is very, very difficult to practice Krishna consciousness unless some merciful devotees comes across and engages us in Krishna consciousness. There are so many devotees. Unless your son or daughter is a devotee, they engage you in Krishna consciousness, or the community that you are living engages you in Krishna consciousness, or the family. Unless one of these things happen, we won't be able to engage in Krishna consciousness. And the remaining life, he says, goes in family attachments. So family attachments is something which Prahlad Maharaj is speaking here. So in the previous verses, he says how every relationship that we have attracts us to the material family life, to the family life, and takes up our time. Wife, children, parents, daughter, household, and especially our genitals and tongue. They attach us to the sense gratification a lot. And Prahlad Maharaj says that we need to control that. So in 14 and 15 verses, Prahlad Maharaj is going to speak that how absorbing ourselves completely in family maintenance is going to take all our time. Immediately, many people in many of my sessions, when I say that start your Krishna consciousness life, take it seriously, they immediately think that I have to leave all my family. I have to be very indifferent to my family, not taking care of them, or not doing my duties, or saying that I have to go far away from them. That's how I have to save myself in absorbing from family maintenance. That's how people interpret or understand when we read in scriptures that you should not be absorbing yourself in family maintenance. That is not what the scriptures are saying, because we are gruhastas and we are living in gruhastashrama. But the scriptures warn us that you don't become gruhamedhi. Gruhamedhi, a medhi word. Again, Prabhupada explains so wonderfully in the second canto of Srimad Bhagvatam, first chapter again, where he says that we should not be becoming gruhamedis. Gruhamedis are those, as I said before, who spend all their time the morning in earning money and the nights in enjoying those things. So gruhamedis. So there are two categories. People are divided into two categories, gruhastas and gruhamedis. Gruhastas are those who live together with their wife and children, but live transcendentally for realizing the ultimate truth. So they are also living with their wife and children, but they are engaging themselves in Krishna consciousness, in chanting and hearing. Whatever the time, they are dividing their time wisely, not overly endeavoring for material things, but engaging themselves in material things as much as it is needed, and rest of the time in Krishna consciousness. And gruhamedis are those who live only for the benefit of the family members, extended or centralized, and thus are envious of others. So we should not be becoming gruhamedis where all our time is spent only in taking care of family members and earning for them. Actually, gruhamedis are envious of other families, because all our time, what we are thinking, I have to give best to my family, and my family should be getting all the best things. Obviously, when our neighbors are getting the best things, envy comes. And because of that envy, we are always trying to either feel bad for them getting those things, or we are scheming and plotting how I can take those things. So Prabhupada writes in 2.1.2 verse very nicely about gruhamedis. The gruhamedis, however, are those who live only for the benefit of the family members, extended or centralized, and thus are envious of others. The word medhi indicates jealousy of others. The gruhamedis, being interested in family affairs only, are certainly envious of others. Therefore, one gruhamedi is not on good terms with another gruhamedi, and in the extended form, one community, society, or nation is not on good terms with another counterpart of selfish interest. So this is how the gruhamedis become very nuclear and nuclear. Like, one family is not happy about the other family. And again, one community is not happy about the other community. And one country is not happy about the other country. So we should not be becoming gruhamedis. That is what here Prahlad Maharaj is mentioning. Do not get yourself absorbed in family maintenance. And we'll go into the verse and talk more about it, what Prahlad Maharaj is saying. Kutumba poshaya viyan nijayur nabudhyater vihitam pramattaha sarvatra tapatraya dukkhitatma nirvidyate nasvakutumbharama. Kutumba posha, kutumbharama. Kutumba posha means maintaining the family. Kutumba poshaya, for the maintenance of the family members. half of our day, half of our life, after sleeping, childhood, everything, if you take the 25 years of the life where we work, or 30 years of the life, half of it or major portion of it goes in maintenance of the family. So this family maintenance, we need to understand how practically we can minimize this and save most of the time in self-realization. We'll discuss that. And then Kutumbarama, enjoying simply by maintaining the family members. We are so happy giving everything to the family, and then we think that, oh, I have made my human form of life successful because I successfully did everything. I made my children study, got them married, did everything. Not even a single minute I wasted anywhere. I engaged all my time, energy, resources in the maintenance of the family, and we feel very happy. Translation: one who is too attached cannot understand that he is wasting his valuable life for the maintenance of his family. He also fails to understand that the purpose of human life, a life suitable for realization of the absolute truth, is being imperceptibly spoiled. However, he is very cleverly attentive to seeing that not a single farthing is lost by mismanagement. Thus, although an attached person in material existence always suffers from threefold miseries, he does not develop a distaste for the way of material existence. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A foolish man does not understand the values of human life, nor does he understand how he is wasting his valuable life simply for the maintenance of his family members. He is expert in calculating the loss of pounds, shillings, and pence, but he is so foolish that he does not know how much money he is losing, even according to material conditions. Chanakya Pandita gives the example that a moment of life cannot be purchased in exchange of millions of dollars. A foolish person, however, wastes such a valuable life without knowing how much he is losing, even according to a monetary calculation. Although a materialistic person is expert in calculating cost and doing business, he does not realize that he is misusing his costly life for want of knowledge. Even though such a materialistic person is always suffering threefold miseries, he is not intelligent enough to seize his material life. So Prahlad Maharaj is so straightforward here. One he is too attached cannot understand that he is wasting his valuable life for the maintenance of his family. As I said, when this is read, everybody think that how can we leave our family? How can we not spend our time in the maintenance of the family? We are the one who created this family, who wanted this family. We are the one who chose to be in Grihastha. We did not go directly from Brahmacharya to Sannyasashrama. And scriptures also does not recommend that to everybody, because we may fall down from Sannyasashrama if our senses are not controlled properly. So scriptures recommend all of us to enter into the Grihastha, but then again, we hear that we are wasting all our time in the maintenance of the family. This has become so much lately. In olden days, it is not the case that the family, elders of the family are always engaged only in maintenance of the family. They always have to have a spiritual routine in their day. And even men and women both used to have a spiritual routine. Both of them used to take care of different parts of the life. Men used to work, women used to take care of the family and children, and even the extended families, more like joint families used to be there. But their day used to start with service to the Lord. I still remember when I was studying 11th or 12th grade, I used to live in my grandmother's house. And there used to be many people. If once the day starts for her, it used to be very hectic. The way to do the house chores is also used to take a lot of time at that time. Now we are we have so many sophisticated methods and we can do things faster now. But still we are so much engrossed that we could not pick out the time that they used to do. So she used to wake me up to study early in the morning. And then I used to skip one day or the other day. And I used to just sleep saying, okay, I'll wake up in 5 minutes, I'll wake up. But I used to see her like 3:30. She used to just use restroom, brush, wash her hands and legs and sit down and then keep chanting. She used to chant so many slokas and all those things until 6 o'clock in the morning. And then I used to feel like disturbed by that chanting because I want to sleep nicely. But then she used to sit next to me and chant, and she used to encourage me to wake up and study. And she never used to miss a single day. And she's the last person to work in the kitchen before night. And then she's the first person to wake up in the house. And similarly, my grandfather and all the other elderly family members used to have a routine where they used to engage themselves in self-realization process. This is the biggest thing that people are missing nowadays. Whatever the time, before even we get down from our bed, we are linking ourselves, we are connecting ourselves to the external world, the material world, and we want to know what happened when we slept, the 5-6 hours or 8 hours that we slept. We think that the world, so much has happened in the world which I need to be known, otherwise I'm going to miss something. And the first thing we take is the phone, and then we start watching the news, or we start checking our work emails, or whatever it may be. And then we miss the golden time of morning to connect ourselves to Krishna. The first thing in the morning, if we have a discipline, if we know the value of the human form of life, we should understand that if the day starts, I will be engrossed in the material things. Let me start my day by chanting or hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Like every time when I come to this session of early morning, listening Srimad Bhagavatam sessions, I'm not exaggerating, dear devotees, when I say that you are all very fortunate. You are all very fortunate that every day showing up to hear, showing up to do some kind of a service, greeting or engaging, organizing this session, or sending the emails about, sending the messages about this session. This is something which is going to keep us, this time that you're all spending is actually is going to is giving us lot of returns, because Prabhupada again says in Bhagavad Gita, when we engage our life in Krishna consciousness, you are not going to lose anything. So we are not really lose anything, but we are going to gain a human form of life where we can continue our spiritual journey and go back to Krishna. So for maintaining the human form of life, we don't require all the time to be spent in that. We need to know our boundaries. We need to know how we have to divide our day, how we should be doing what we should be saying. When I said that we need to know our boundaries, because nowadays we are overly involved not only in our lives but also in our children's life, our family members' life. We want to control everything, and then we are like totally engrossed in that. We want to know the day of our kid from morning to end. We want to micromanage everything in our life, and we are not realizing that in that kind of a maintenance, we are getting attached and we are losing our time. When we have done what we are supposed to be doing, like a 25-year-old kid does not need us all the time from morning to evening. They don't need us. Actually, they get suffocated when we involve ourselves too much like that also. We need to teach them also to learn how to maintain their life. We won't be with them all the time, wherever they are going. And if we are not making them independent and dependent on us all the time, we are not actually raising them properly. We are also not knowing the human form of life, and we are also not teaching our kids the value of the human form of life for a temporary attachment of 100 years or 60 years when we are all together. Oh, I love my kids so much. I love my husband so much. I love my wife so much. So I'm going to tag along with them everywhere they go, whatever they do, everything. And then what we are doing, you also forget, you also misuse your human form of life. I will also misuse my human form of life. And all of us will degrade ourselves to the animal form of life. That is what we are telling. When we are not teaching our children about the self-realization, when we ourselves are not valuing our human form of life and keeping some time for ourselves in self-realization and saying that, oh, I am the best family person, I'm going to take care of my family to the bestest and prove that I'm the bestest dad, bestest mother, bestest brother, bestest sister. But unfortunately, we are doing a lot of injustice to ourselves as a soul. So there should be a line, there should be a boundary, there should be a no at certain times. And this time, morning time, is for myself. I'm going to read Bhagvatam. I'm going to chant. I'm going to connect myself with my Supreme Father, with whom I am having a relation, life after life. These family relations are temporary. I need to take care of them, but I need to do this first. This is most important. And when we do that first, even our family lives, we will know where I should draw my line, how much I should be attached. We are overly getting attached, and we are becoming blind to everything else. We need to know when to let the birds leave the nest and fly, and when to stop. We need to know where is the line to draw for a want and for a need. When we are running behind our wants, our desires, our material desires, how much ever money we earn, we feel that this is less. We want more. We want to earn more. When we earn more, there is only limited time for us in a day, 24 hours. When we spend 10, 12 hours of day in working, we are tired. We have to eat and we have to sleep. Then there is no time for spiritual realization or spiritual practice. So we should know where to draw a line for our wants and desires. These are very personal to everybody's life. There is no hard and fast rule. Like, you should only earn this much, you should only earn that much. So we will be knowing, actually, every one of us are intelligent enough where we know that what is our need and what is our want. So when we start practicing that, oh, this thing that I'm running behind is just my want, just my desire, and I'm not going to stop in fulfilling this desire, I will again engage myself in another desire, and I will waste all my time. If I keep running behind my desires, I may not get a human form of life. So for maintaining the family, we don't need to spend all our time. All of us can pick in a day a time where we can spend on our own spiritual practice. If we are somebody who really require 24 hours in maintenance of our family also, still we can engage in the process of self-realization by thinking about the Lord, by chanting and doing those things. Let's say we have to cook, we can chant. We have to take care of elderly family members, we can keep chanting. We can nowadays, to engage ourselves in Krishna consciousness has become even more easy. In olden days, people has to go to the temples and listen to the lectures. Now we can listen to the lectures where we are, wherever we are. We just have to have a phone. We can listen to the kirtan. We can listen to the lectures. We can read even a 5 minutes of time we get. We can open the Srimad Bhagvatam, vedabase.io, and we can read. We just need to have that desire to engage ourselves in the process of self-realization. We don't really require all the time in the maintenance of the family. He also fails to understand the purpose of human life. A life suitable for realization of absolute truth is being imperceptibly spoiled. We do this because we don't know the value of the time. When we know the value of the time, value of the human form of life, value of the time, then we will utilize it properly. So as long as we are not convinced with the goal of the human form of life, or with the value of the time, that how much ever money I earn, I will not be able to get even a fraction of second by giving all my money also. When we realize that, we will use every minute, every second in a way that my human form of life becomes complete and perfect. So because we don't know the value of the human form of life, and we don't know that we cannot buy time with whatever the money that we have, we very casually waste the time. I see many people, when they sit with their phone, I go like for dropping my kids for the classes, and then sometimes I just have to wait outside. And then I sit and I chant sometimes, or I quickly open Veda base. With Krishna's mercy, Krishna and devotees have been so merciful with me that they engage me in the service of preaching. And then here, Krishna has put me in a town where I have to be on my toes in conducting the Krishna conscious programs. So I am busy all the time, either way, thinking about Krishna or Krishna conscious activities. So, and then I see that people, because when we are in the same waiting room, I keep hearing that one reel after the other reel, one reel after the other reel, one reel after the other reel, or they download the movies and then they put it in such a loud sound that this is what all the technology is used for. Unfortunately, earlier, because we don't have everything on the phone, if you have to watch something, you need to have a TV. Everybody used to have only one TV in the living room. Everybody has to sit down in that living room and then watch. And when you are sitting in living room and watching, you cannot be watching some things which are not good for the whole family. So many things are regulated at that time, that so many things used to come into control, and people used to live in small houses, so you cannot be keep on running the TVs when kids are there for studying. So you have to control. Even the adults are controlled in watching the TV. They used to watch only for a certain amount of time, and remaining all of time they either used to chant something or read something or do something useful. But nowadays, thanks to this technology and phones, even the adults are spoiled. I go to India, I see 60-70-year-old playing Candy Crush on their phones because they are not getting sleep. They are old now. You get a less sleep and you are bored. There is nobody to talk to you or engage you in conversations, and sometimes you cannot hear properly. So they play because they never know that they can engage that valuable human form of life in chanting the holy names of the Lord also. There is nobody guiding them. There is nobody telling them. There is nobody teaching them to use the human form of life in a valuable way. So here Prahlad Maharaj is saying people are wasting the human form of life. However, he is very cleverly attentive to seeing that not a single farthing is lost by mismanagement. People are okay to waste the human form of life. People are okay to waste the time in material sense enjoyment, but they are not ready to lose even a single penny. Very calculative. People are so calculative. Just to buy something for a lesser price, they are okay to travel miles and miles and get that. Or to earn more money, they are okay to, even if they don't need that money also, they are okay to go and work extra and get that money, thinking that, oh, this may be useful for my sense enjoyment in future. So people are ready, not losing the material enjoyment. At the same time, people are ready to completely waste the human form of life. Thus, although an attached person in material existence always suffers from threefold miseries, he does not develop a distaste for the way of material existence. How much ever we are earning, how many ever desires we are fulfilling, we are thinking that we are very happy. Oh, my desire is fulfilled. I wanted to buy this big house, I bought. Big car, Tesla, BMW, I am very, very happy. So people are thinking like that, but we are not able to overcome the threefold miseries that our body is giving. Whether you are a millionaire or a billionaire, if you get a knee pain, it will be like knee pain only. A person who is having only $1,000 get a knee pain, it will be like a knee pain only. Maybe the person who is having millions of dollars can go and get a pain medication or a knee replacement. But when the pain comes, it is same. It's not different. It's the same. So body, the pains that we get from the body and mind, even the millionaire and somebody insults will feel bad. The pain that our mind gives, he will have his own set of enemies, and the person who is not that rich will also have his own set of. So the pain, the miseries that we are going to get from our body and mind, the miseries that we get from the natural calamities, the miseries that we get from the relatives and families and femmes. So these miseries are troubling us, or giving or telling us that this material world is a place of miseries. Human form of life is given to you to go to your spiritual world, get your spiritual body, and be happy all the time. But still we are not serious about self-realization, and we are not getting any kind of detachment to these material things or distaste. We are thinking, all of you, the famous picture you may be knowing, a man hanging to the branch of the tree, and the rats are biting that tree branches. And down there is a lake in which a crocodile is waiting when this man will fall down from that branch, and then I'm going to eat him. And an elephant is shaking that tree. So it's not that you're hanging on to that tree and you can hang on to the tree forever. The elephant is shaking the tree, and rats or mice are eating that branch. And then still we are thinking that I will hold on to that branch because there is a honey bee nest on top branch, and it is dropping honey every now and then, tasting that honey every now and then. We are thinking that no, my life is still better. Even in these all problems, I have a taste of honey every now and then, and I'm going to stick on to this branch and hold on to this branch for that taste of honey. So materially engrossed people are also like that. Even though all these miseries are coming, they are not trying to make use of these miseries and understand what I am supposed to do in this human form of life, why these miseries are coming. Is this human form of life is just meant for eating, mating, and sleeping, or do I have to do something more out of it? They are not thinking about that. They are only thinking like, no, I'm going to get happiness in future, or I had happiness in past, so I still should be working so hard to be happy. And they are never ever getting any distaste in the material existence. Even the material existence is full of miseries. Like we work so hard like cats and dogs, earn money, and then sometimes a person earns for his family so much, and then he sees that his family is not reciprocating his love in the same way he has done. Once the kids grow and go out of the house, you may be hankering for their love, and you will be like constantly texting them, talking to them, but they are in the process of making their own family, so they don't have time for the parents. And the parents are feeling very sad, very lonely, left out, not knowing what they did wrong, that they are not able to get the attention of their children, or they are not getting that much care and love like how they have cared their children. And they are confused. They don't know. They feel like their life has cheated them, and then they feel so lonely and depressed. And sometimes they may not be able to raise their kids in the way they wanted, and even that giving distress. So we all need to understand that this attachment that we are having with the family is very temporary. We have to do our duty and leave it. Do our duty and leave it. In every situation, we need to do that. Otherwise, we will be too overly attached to the family, and we are causing a big injustice to ourselves, where we are losing the chance to get a human form of life. So this is how a foolish person spends all his time in Kutumba Posha and Kutumba Rama, and then he misses an opportunity. So I'll finish 15 because both of them are connected. Vitteshu nityabhinivishta cheta vidvamsa dosham paravittahartuhu pretyeya vatapya jitendriyastad asanta kamo harate kutumbi. If a person too attached to the duties of family maintenance is unable to control his senses, the core of his heart is immersed in how to accumulate money. Although he knows that one who takes the wealth of others will be punished by the law of the government and by the laws of Yamaraja after death, he continues to cheating others to acquire money. So because we are too much attached to the duties of the family maintenance, we are unable to control our senses. And our heart is completely immersed in, oh, how I'm going to earn money and keep my family happy. How I'm going to give everything to my children. Whatever they ask, I will not let them experience even a small trouble. As long as I am alive, I'm going to give everything to them. And if I don't have the capacity to earn money in a righteous way, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to grab it from others, and I'm going to fight. I'm going to do all kind of wicked ways in earning money. Even after knowing that all these processes are going to give us a punishment, either in this life by the government here or by Amaraja, people are not thinking twice. So we see in this modern world, the politicians or many other people, the business people, or even some people, they arrange these banks or cooperative societies where they say, where they tell to people that, oh, I'm going to give you a lot of interest, come and deposit here. And after a certain number of years, they will just cheat everybody and go away with that money. And then there is no end for their thirst for earning money. And there is no rules for them. They don't follow any rules. They break all the rules the scriptures has mentioned, because they are driven by their senses, and their whole heart is their intelligence is stolen by the ignorance, and their heart is full of earning money for their family members because they are too much attached. Purport. Especially in these days, people do not believe in a next life or in the court of Amaraja and the various punishments of the sinful. But at least one should know that one who cheats others to acquire money will be punished by the laws of government. Nonetheless, people do not care about the laws of this life or those governing the next. Despite whatever knowledge one has, one cannot stop his sinful activities if he is unable to control his senses. So this is another biggest problem. People think that I can cheat the government, I can cheat everybody and earn money. As long as I'm escaping, I am good. Sometimes we may escape from the government here. We may be escaping from the people here, but we cannot escape from Yamaraja or from Krishna. So all the things, karma knows its address, even if it is in the next life or next life or next life, and comes and delivers to us the results that we have accumulated. Many people don't know this. They think that nobody is seeing, nobody is watching me, nobody is realizing that I'm doing this cheating or anything, and they engage themselves in their cheating. I've been taught a lesson from my childhood that if something is not yours, don't even touch. If there is nobody or nobody is taking care of it. So these kind of teachings nowadays, the children, we are not teaching them. What we are teaching them, you have to come first, whatsoever it may be. You have to grab every opportunity without giving anybody a chance to do the things. It's okay if you trick the other person and take the things. So we are teaching the kids to become more and more like animals. Like material enjoyment is what it is needed. Material enjoyment is what, material success is what is the life. The goal of the life, the goal of the human form of life is like, you have to earn a lot of money. You have to have a good life where you have a big house, big car, and a lot of money, going to the vacations wherever you want, and then doing whatever you want, buying a lot of material appliances is what the success of human form of life. That is what the goal, that is what we are teaching the kids, because we don't want even our kids to engage in Krishna consciousness activities. If they spend a little bit more time in Krishna consciousness activities, we get worried. or whether this kid will become a sannyasi or what, or will not be able to earn money or not enjoy any sense gratification. So we ourselves are not convinced about the value of the human life. So as a gruhastas, we ourselves are becoming gruhamedis, and we are also making our children also gruhamedis. We are also not telling our children, what is that something you all go home and ask, what is that one instruction we give our children to every day? Maybe we'll say, take care, be careful when you're going outside, or when you're outside, be careful. That is one instruction we may tell. And the other instructions we may be telling, make sure you're not wasting time and doing a good job, earning money, and then become a successful person. That is another thing we may be telling. But does any of us tell to our children that never ever forget Krishna in your life? Never ever forget chanting the holy names of the Lord. However the life may be difficult, however challenging it may be, however happy you may be, however in whatever miserable situation you are, maybe, please remember Krishna. Don't forget Krishna. Please chant. Please chant. Do we say that? One instruction that if we want to tell to our children, that should be, never forget Krishna in your life. Somehow or the other, remember Krishna. You may not be becoming a full-time devotee, but never ever forget Krishna, and never ever waste your single day without remembering Krishna, without taking the names of Krishna. Start your spiritual journey so that you will be at least getting a human form of life next life. If we are engaging ourselves in only material engrossment, and if we are also teaching our children only that, we are actually doing the biggest loss for our children. What is that? Not letting them to have a human form of life next life. So we ourselves are also doing the biggest loss to ourselves, is depriving ourselves of human form of life, which is the only way we can realize the absolute truth and Krishna, and go back to our home where we can lead a life full of knowledge, full of bliss, and full of eternal life, where we don't need to worry about dying or old age or disease. So increasingly entangling family life, surrounded about sex life, is a dark well. That is what Prahlad Maharaj says in 7.5.5. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying that absorption in family maintenance, kutumba posha, kutumba rama, leads us to exhaustion of our lifespan. That means that we will lose our time as human, and we will defeat the real purpose of the human form of life. The real purpose of human form of life is self-realization and realizing the absolute truth. We are going to miss that. And even though we are engrossed in threefold miseries, we are not realizing about the self-realization, or we are not getting any distaste or regrets that we are wasting all our time in material form of life. And we don't have any sense control because we did not regularize our senses by engaging them in Shravanam and Kirtanam of the Lord. So our senses are going wherever they want. So if you all remember, there is a chariot sloka in first canto of Srimad, first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So there is a sloka where Krishna is on the chariot as a charioteer, Radha-Sarathi, bringing Arjuna to the battlefield. So a big Upanishads give a metaphor for this chariot. So the chariot is our body. The horses of the chariot are our senses, and the ropes that we use to control the horses is mind, and the charioteer, the person who is riding that chariot, driver of that chariot, is our intelligence. And who is the person who is the passenger in that chariot? Soul. Soul is the passenger in that chariot. So if our intelligence is full of material intelligence, then we will go to our destination where we will be getting again and again the material bodies. So we all should know what should be our destination. The passenger, the soul should know where to go. If the soul doesn't know where to go, and if the intelligence is not spiritual intelligence, enriched by reading the scriptures, Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, even if the intelligence does not know where to take the horses, and even if the intelligence is completely material intelligence, and intelligence is going to guide the horses towards the material destinations. Worst thing is, if the intelligence is not strong enough and have no control on the mind, then the horses are going to take you wherever they want to. It will be a roller coaster ride. That means when you don't control your senses using your mind, and when you don't control your senses by directing your mind by using the intelligence, you are going wherever the horses are taking, wherever the senses are taking, and that is not going to be good. That is going to be a roller coaster ride, and they may take you and drop you in a ditch. They may take you and drop you in an animal form of a life where you will take many lifetimes to come out of it. So what we have to do, we have to enrich our material intelligence. The charioteer of our chariot should be Krishna. Always reading about Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, every day reading Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, and using that intelligence to guide our life and reach the destination, Goloka Vrindavan. So our charioteer should be Krishna. Words of Krishna and Krishna are not different. So the Bhagavad Gita should be our charioteer. That should be guiding our life, and that should be our intelligence should be full of the instructions given by Krishna, so that we can control our horses, the indriyas, the senses, and go to the destination where we want. Then the soul will be happy. Not when the soul gives its control completely to the horses. So no sense control, ajitendriya, unfulfilled desires. So when we are completely absorbed in family maintenance, what happens? We spend all the time in maintaining the family and enjoying that our family is happy. And in that way, we are losing our time. We are defeating the real purpose of the human form of life. That is not knowing that I have to start my spiritual journey, and we don't have any regret or distress in the material enjoyment. Even though we are in full of miseries, we don't have sense control, ajitendriya, and we have lot of unfulfilled desires. So the result of that, we are asanta, we are unhappy. So obsessed in accumulating money, whatsoever may the way, stealing, cheating, despite knowing that we will be punished by Yamaraja or Krishna or government here, we still do this. So this is what happens when we absorb ourselves in family maintenance. So we should know where to draw that line. We have where we have to divide, how to divide our time for family maintenance and our spiritual journey. So this is the instruction Prahlad Maharaj is giving to his friends. I'll stop here, and if anybody have any questions or comments, I'll take. Thank you all so much.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Madhavan Pranam to you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much for the wonderful class and sharing your thoughts and your own personal experiences, about your grandparents, how they were functioning and their spiritual life, how it was continuing so smoothly. And nowadays, those same grandparents are sitting with the phone, like you mentioned. So it's I was thinking that, all of us actually have that consciousness of feeling that, we're seeing so many people, anywhere you go, there's a waiting line, everybody's sitting with a phone. It's amazing. They're like, head is down. It's like, they're like robots. They're sitting there. No one is saying anything to anyone. And their mind is so much entrapped by this piece of phone that sometimes you feel those older times were so much better, where you use the phone only for taking someone's call and things like that. So, and this is having such a negative impact on our spiritual life, because we also feel that this is the right thing, we should do that. So, Mataji, can you give some example, since you mentioned this and we want to progress in our spiritual life, of how we can actually, when we are on the Facebook or other things and we're sitting and, scrolling down and seeing the reels and all that. And of course, we don't have only Krishna conscious, stuff there, because there are so many other people also who are adding. And if we remove them, then, we're preaching to them. So we can't remove them from a Facebook list, but they keep on, putting all kinds of things which also goes through while we are scrolling or whatever. But the bottom line is that, like, what is the substitute? Like, I know Srila Prabhupada always said that when, you, don't take tea, intoxication, but we can take milk, we can take cardamom milk. We can take something else as a substitute. And, we all have desires. We can't be desireless, but dovetail our desires to Krishna. Like, so in the same way, now this phone addiction is very, very prominent in today's this thing. So the moment we pick up the phone, and of course we check our email, that is, work related or doctor related. Then we go and check, few of the WhatsApp messages, if there is any services at the temple, other things. But then when we go to these other places, like Facebook and the whole world going on there, and so how, what should be the time limit to be there? Maybe we can set a timer that 15 minutes only I will see whatever I can see. Otherwise, one can sit for hours together. So some tips you can give on that, so that way, we can follow that and remove this addiction, and use that time, like you said in the end, to instead read Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, I can give some tips, Mataji. The first thing, like if you're not working, if you don't need to check your emails constantly, don't take the phone. Don't keep the phone always in your hand. Keep it aside in a purse or anything. And then don't see that first. That's the first thing I'll say. And the second thing, nowadays in the phones also, you can put a time limit to your apps. So put a time limit to your apps. Go and see actually how much time you are spending on each of the app. That will be eye-opening. So you can put a time limit on your tabs, on your apps, which will automatically stop your app after some time. And another thing is, you carry a small book with you, Prabhupada books. So I always keep in my car Bhagavad Gita or a book that I'm reading right now. So sometimes we think that watch the truck. So sometimes we think that I'm going to go to Veda base. So you may have a momentarily interruption of my voice, Mataji. So we may be thinking like sometimes I'm going to vedabase.io only. I'm going to Facebook to read only the quotes that devotees are sharing. Or like that we will think, but we will we will lose the track of time when we are there. So, like, as I said, if you are not a working person who has to check constantly your phone, even the working person, I work.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, we can't hear you.
We get distracted. So we should not be doing that. And the other thing I was saying, like, keep a book with you and then read that book. Or always chant. Chanting is the best thing that we can do wherever we are. We can chant, like, 16 rounds is just a minimum thing. It's not like you should stop after chanting 16. You can chant more. And then so these are certain things, and keep a time for your social media interactions, Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp or anything. So keep a time, and especially when you're chanting or when you're doing any Krishna service, keep your phone away. Keep your phone so much so away because it's a big distraction. You don't need to instantly reply. We don't need to constantly checking, because we are not on any military grounds or we are not doing any of those things. But because it's available, we keep constantly checking, and after some time we get obsessed with it. We worry if after checking 2 hours, nobody texts us or nobody says that. So some simple tips are like, as I said earlier, you can keep a limit on your apps so that you don't involve much time, and don't take phone if you don't need it. Keep it in the purse wherever you're waiting or wherever you're going. I have a personal discipline that in temples, when I am there, I don't take my phone out. I will not take. And for meetings, I don't take my phone. For so many places, I don't take my phone. If I'm talking with anybody, I don't check my phone. So to value the person opposite me. So I do those things. So all these personal disciplines we can practice, and checking and even reading. If you want to read on phone, you can carry a small book with you, and then you can read on that. In that way, you are away from screen for some time. So all these things we should do. All these things when we will do when we know the seriousness of the time. Any minute, even not in a sense, every minute we spent is gone. We cannot get that back. And all of us have a certain amount of time on our life. 72 days, 72 years, 30 years, 40 years, 10 years, 100 years. Every one of us have that. The clock is ticking on our head. So if we realize that, we use it more wisely. So these are some few tips which I was following, I could share. If anybody else follows any of those, can share.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you for a wonderful class every time, as always. One thing I would recommend, not recommend, sorry, I just heard from one of the specialist doctors, like I keep getting some messages from some doctors. So in which it was mentioned like regarding the phone and also intake in the body, like we eat also, right? So eating should not be, you should not eat anything before 2 hours before going to sleep. And also it was mentioned in that, like earlier this phone usage was not a practice, but now it is a practice, as you mentioned in the class, like every time, we keep on browsing and surfing the phone. So the doctor has recommended like before you go to sleep 1 hour before, and when you wake up 1 hour after. So you should not see your phones. So that is good for health also. Like, when you hold the phone, you're sleeping on the bed, you're holding that posture where you hold the phone, your shoulders or your eyes, it's a strain, that's what doctor tried to mention. And that was the recommendation recently given by one doctor. Uh, so this is one good practice, what I think, like if we put a boundary, as you mentioned in the class, if we set up some time limit or boundary. So this is one of the good boundaries. Like if we make 1 hour before we go to bed, just switch off your phone or turn off the notifications, or you can, then it's the same thing in the morning also. Like when you wake up, don't take the phone immediately in the hand. So these two things, what I also like the what it was mentioned in that message.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yes. I myself, like, until I finish my chanting, I don't take my phone and check in the mornings, like until 6:30, or like, the first thing I'll do is chanting. So like that. And after 9:30, unless I'm required any important thing, I keep. And another thing is like, keeping your phone away from your bed. Because if it is next to your bed, you are tossing and turning to sleep, and then the 1 minute you are not able to sleep, you'll open the phone and say like, oh, let me see something until I watch. So these all things, Prabhu, actually in our when we are growing up, we are also fortunate that we don't have all these things. So the TVs used to be in the living room and we used to sleep. But nowadays, like, until you sleep, you have phone. And after you slept, you are keeping your phone next to your bed. So that's a good thing, Prabhu. Like, keeping your phone away 2 hours before you sleep or 1 hour before you sleep, not touching that. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. Yes, Mataji, that is the best practice. And I like that when I got that message, because I have some joint pains issues, so I have registered only to that doctor's portal. So they keep on sending messages, what are the good practices, like even for the food they mentioned. So this was from the point of health also. It is beneficial for our health also. So also and as you said, if we keep the phone away, and best practice is to keep the alarm clock, Mataji. So that will definitely, because for alarm also we put the alarm on the phone and wake up alarm. So that is the reason we are keeping it within one hand reachable. So it's better to keep a alarm clock. Earlier we used to use those alarm clocks, right? So just keep that and keep your phone away, because you know that you are not going to touch for 1 hour when you wake up. So that doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yes. Hare Krishna,
Thank you so
Mataji.
much. Thank you
Dandavad.
so much, Mataji and Prabhuji. I just want to thank them for the tips. Yeah, it really helps. We have to start with baby steps and then we can move forward to remove this horrible addiction, Yeah.
Yes,
Go ahead,
Mataji. Thank you
Mataji.
so much, Mataji, for this nectarian class, as always. And I would like to share one thing, like you was mentioning about the old people, but now I have some older friends and they have grandkids now, and they send their videos that how my granddaughter or my grandson is doing, and the TV is all the time on in their living room or in their house, and all filmy songs are going on, and they send the videos about the kid is dancing on the videos of the movie songs. So I feel so sorry or so worried about their kids. Like so, from this 4 months, 6 months, or 8 months kids, and it is dancing on the movie songs. So
And we think that they are smart because they are dancing.
yeah,
I also feel very sad, Mataji, very bad, very sad. This I used to do 10-15 years back itself. I used to feel very bad, like, you are introducing them,
yeah,
I,
yeah,
I was having as I said, I have kids class, and there are some parents who attend adults class also. So I was choosing a story for them, and I said that they said, Vani Mataji, why are you taking so much time to choose a story to tell us? Then I told them, I have to tell a story to your age level, right? I also give classes to adults, so I don't want to give you those things. Then immediately 2-3 kids have replied in my class saying, I know my parents attend your class, they listen to your class, they are also telling me the time. They listen to you on Wednesday, they listen to you on Saturday, like that. Then I realized, I told their parents, see, you indirectly told your kids that you are listening to classes every twice a week, and that memory is there in their mind now. So when they grow big, they will also try to do that. But
yeah,
if you are sitting in front of the TV and watching TV all the time, they will think that, oh, my parents watch TV and they felt happy when I danced on movie songs, so I will also do that. So
mm,
that's what we are not only spoiling our things and also the future generations, and people are not knowing that that is not good for their children. That is another biggest problem.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Even the
so
whole thing also, like this is a not like this is very normal thing that what are they doing?
yeah, so
Basically,
Yeah.
what
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Geeta. And the other thing is, Savita Mataji and Rupini Mataji is, I see their children are so, I mean, they're very young right now, but even teenagers, they'll be so skimpily dressed,
Yeah.
not gracefully dressed, like wearing those
Short.
blouses, which are right, they're so horrible, but they think it's very nice. Anyway, thank you, Mataji.
Yeah. Yes, Mataji. And one more thing I would like to share that last week, like Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Thursday to Monday, we went to New Vrindavan for the youth retreat. The TSI organization, they organize the youth retreat every year. And the SB Keshav Swami Maharaj was there. And he was giving Bhagvatam class. And one good point I would like to share, he was emphasizing on the sadhana, the word sadhana. So sadhana means dhana means property or wealth, and sa means ours. Like so, if we focus on our this spiritual sadhana, our life will be very successful. So that also I would like to share that, Mataji.
Haribol Mataji, thank you so much. My kids attended that
Oh,
TSI. My daughter, not this time. Before, when it happened in Texas, my daughter wanted to come this time, but then the timings did not help. Maybe next year. Thank you,
yeah.
Mataji.
It was very wonderful. And my
Next
daughter
year,
Samrani
Mataji, you do
was,
that.
yeah, Samrani was in organizing committee since last 3 years.
So next year,
That's good.
Mataji, please ping me. I want to send my children
Sure,
to this.
Mataji. Sure, I will send you the information as early as possible. Yeah, it's very nice retreat, Mataji, for youth, and they how to balance
And
the life,
to your
spiritual
knowledge,
life.
Mataji, mostly next year, Shamanasika just tell that it will be in Washington DC temple. So it is going to be more.
Okay.
Mostly, yeah.
Okay. Sure, Mataji. Yeah, they attended when it was in Texas. My son and my daughters, they attend sometimes in Chicago, the camps and all. But I wanted to take them to TSI. I like really the TSI program. So
Yes, Mataji. Sure, I will send you. I will let you know.
Aparasika Mataji, can you just repeat? I didn't hear the meaning of sadhana. You said meaning of sadhana.
Yeah, meaning of sadhana. He was emphasizing and explaining the word sadhana. Like we think, like, usually we think that whatever we do japa or we reading, that is our sadhana, and that is also he was more elaborating on the word sadhana means dhana means wealth or our property, and that is spiritual. Like sa means spiritual sadhana. So, spiritual dhan, whatever we are gathering, that is important for us for our next journey of life. That was he
Amazing.
was
Devotees, they have this deep thinking and they can
yeah,
come up with this. It's good to preach this letter word. Sorry.
Mataji. S.B. Keshav Swami Maharaj, we met him so nice. He's young Maharaj, but from London. And he's a
Yes,
South Indian body, but he's very famous and his class was so awesome. So if I get the recording, I will share on our group, Mataji. So because of the young kids, he was explaining so nicely, not like mm, very deeply, like, but in the mood of how the youth can accept it. So it was very awesome.
Thank you, Mataji. I just wanted to mention one thing about, the previously we were talking right now about the fact that, one time there used to be a Mataji called Manani Mataji in this class.
Yeah.
So Manani Mataji one time told me, like, when we sleep, we keep our doors closed. Children are sleeping, the door is closed. My husband's sleeping, door closed, like that. So Mataji told me that, when the everyday chant, Harinam conference call is going on and Bhagavatam study is going on for 10 years, what you do that, and my daughter was that time in the 11th grade and she was not practicing. She was just looking and all that. So she used to tell me that you leave the door open of the bedroom. So this way what happens, whatever Bhagavatam, classes are happening, even if she's sleeping, it will still go into her soul. That's where it needs to reach. And it'll awaken her and make her Krishna conscious. And it's amazing that that trick really worked. you know and what happened is, the day sometimes there used to be no class, which actually does, it always happens, we have a class, right, Monday to Friday at least, Bhagavatam. So suppose, for some reason she didn't hear, a door was closed, she would get up in the morning and say that, how come you were not on the call today? I was like amazed. I said, how did you know that, I was not on the call, or, it was quiet, or maybe I had to go to doctor's office or something. So in the sense that even if she was not practicing, but what happened, that what did that lead to? That led to her, you know, now chanting 16 rounds and doing her spiritual practices. Eventually, that foundation was made. And so it was all hearing. Shravanam is so important, So it was, she was imbibing, and then she read Prabhupada's book. And then from there on, perfect question, perfect answers. So hearing is so important. So I just wanted to emphasize how important it is that you don't know in which way, what way the soul will, latch on to Krishna consciousness, which is our everything in this life. Yes, Mataji. All glories to Manani Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranam, all glories to Prabhupada. Such a nice class. Another important topic about why people still bewildered in spite of having been exposed to the threefold material miseries. It reminds me of course, you rightly drew our attention to that picture of that man trying to grab the dripping honey in spite of being surrounded by all miseries. And I was thinking of how Indra got bewildered. He was happy in the pig body. Somebody else is able to understand the pig is not a good journey to be in. So this is the problem. Then it's reminded of Prahlad Maharaj is so wise, and of course he is a Mahajan and a pure devotee, blessed with Krishna's mercy. So his words are so purifying, and I'm not saying that in spite of having been exposed, still people use our gathering as a social gathering, and still they're still not convinced that material world is a place of misery, and that's why Krishna says as part of in chapter 13 part of Bhagavad Gita that janamritu jaraved dukkha dosana darshanam. This the philosophy that the perception of the philosophy of birth, death, old age and disease and the threefold miseries are basically a part of jnana, unless and the jnana will come with the mercy and with the Srimad Bhagavatam says Sususastrodhana Vasudeva Katharuchi San Matsya Vitam. So with the seva, and seva we gets the taste for the holy name and name roop nam roop gun lila, and then the purification starts. So unless purified, the gyan, the perception of the actual reality doesn't seep in. You see, as you correctly pointed out, that even old people, almost to the point of verge of death, they are engrossed in material pleasures. I mean, that Ravana. Sorry. He's reminded me of the Akbar and Birbal story. There was a story. Something happened, and then so Akbar was telling Birbal that this man seems to be very pure. I mean, or something like that. And then Birbal said, "Don't worry, take." You come with me the next day and bring your daughter also. So Akbar's daughter, of course, was beautiful, and so Akbar was inquisitive. Why are you asking me to bring my daughter? So that person was dying, and then still looking at the beautiful daughter of Akbar. So then after coming back, Birbal pointed out this is the problem, that in spite of having been exposed, I mean, misery, still they do not understand these things are temporary. So just wanted, I think I maybe paraphrased, but the essence of that story is that. Your plus so purifying your preaching sadhana and the strength of the preaching conveys and purifies our hearts, and thank you for your kind association. Hari Krishna.
I just wanted to add one thing to Partha Prabhu's story, which is so nice for reminding that nowadays it is not even Akbar, the male body, who is wanting to see this thing, but even the matajis are also the same way now. There's no lajja, chastity or anything, Why? Because the way they dress up, the way they're dressing up, the way, I mean, we had gone to Rath Yatra, and I mean, I can only express it here. Where else can I talk about this? So they are trying their best to show every part of the body other than, the private part, whatever. But in the sense, it's so bad, like to go there and it's so obscene, and, there's no, parents are not dead. Parents are themselves that way only. So, it's attracting the attention of the men, and, like that's where it starts, because like Prabhupada, and see, when we see this, what reminds us? It reminds us, Prabhupada said that men and women are like fire and butter. Now where do we learn fire and butter? Every time, even like, we could also be like Ajamil and get attracted. But we know the philosophy that this is fire and butter situation. And we cannot, get enamored. And this is, of course, the story of how, that another story was there, Prabhuji, Partha Prabhu, like when the boy got attracted to a girl, and then she took some sedatives, and she became ugly, and put everything, all the beauty went in the pot. So Prabhupada has given us such wonderful things, where these stories are so amazing. I don't know where they are. They're all in the books. And, we should hear and read. That should be our passion and, love and everything in this life. Otherwise, like it's the world is really getting bad. There's no difference between male and female. Forget about chastity in woman. Chastity in woman. A woman might be chaste if she's not dressed up properly. That's where everything starts. She has to be covered, like nicely covered and everything. So it's like, we go out in the world and we just want to be in the world when devotees are there with us. Otherwise, simply we go to Walmart and other places, do our stuff, come back, close our eyes, and meat on the stalls so much. It's very, very degrading, very, very degrading. So I'm really, really thankful to Srila Prabhupada, our Guru Maharaj, the whole parampara and devotees in our life, that they have kept us stable, our mind pure. And of course, Mataji's class was very purifying, like Prabhuji always says. And it's all mercy. It's all mercy. So thank you, Prabhuji, for mentioning that. And it's we just have to stay with the devotees and keep ourselves sheltered. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So if nobody has any question or comments, we can end up the call here, because Mataji has to go to drop her daughter to school. It's 15 minutes late. So I hope that's okay, Mataji. It isn't late for you and your daughter.
No, my daughter already drove me. Mataji, I'm on road, so we can end the class.
Really? See
Yeah.
how dedicated you are for the class, Mataji. You're driving and you're giving the class. So thank you so much for your dedication. And it's so inspiring for us.
She drove me and then she dropped herself, and I have to go back now. So I will conclude.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mataji. And sorry for taking a long time.
No problem, Mataji. We'll stop here.
Yeah. Vanchakalpataruvesha Krishna Patitana Anantakoti Vaishnavanda ki jai.
Prabhupada ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Granth Bhagavatam ki jai.
Hare Grace Vanmalini Manjari Mataji ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Puja Mataji. You can end the class by leave conference all. That will stop the recording. Thank you.